Good morning everyone, this is Shivani Agarwal. So, I start my lecture of software engineering with the topic of software design. So, what is software design? Software design means we have to focus with the how we have to develop this particular software. That is not focused on what, because in the requirement analysis phase we have to focus on what, but in the design phase we have to focus on how. So, what is software design? Basically, this is the more creative approach rather than the analysis, because we have to develop the number of prototypes with respect to the ER diagrams, with the ER diagrams, DFDs, flowcharts. So, that shows the progress activities that we have to use for developing the software. So, this is the basic of the software design. This is the cycle of the software design. First, we have to initialize the requirements. Then, we have to gather all the data with respect to these requirements that defined by the user. Then, we have to analyze the requirements and find out the number of solutions, obtain answers to refine requirement questions. So, these are the basic statements that we have to use in the requirement analysis phase. When we have to obtain all the answers of the defined questions, then we have to focus on the high level design. So, we find out the graphical representation of the requirements, and with these high level designs, the customer validate the design against the requirements. If these validations are correct, then we have to move on. If these validations are not incorrect or not with the customer satisfaction, so we have to refine these requirements with respect to the design also. So, this is the basic cycle of the software design. Now, the satisfaction level. So, there are two types of members that we have to satisfy with that design. First is customer and second is developer. If both are not satisfied with the design, then we have to refine the requirements or refine the prototypes. So, the satisfaction of the customer is improved. Now, the design are two types and focus on the two criteria, that is what and how. So, basically, what focused on the conceptual designs and how focused on the technical designs. Always customer focus on what and developer focus on how. How we have to develop this particular system, how the system is useful for the customer point of view, how we have to solve this problem, how we find out the optimal solution. So, basically the technical design completely focused or rely with the how concept. But in the conceptual design, the customers are also non-technical, may be technical or non-technical. So, they basically focused on what the system will do, what the system does, what is the system. So, this is focused on what. These some points that we have to define or we have to answer with the conceptual designs, and these some points we have to describe with the technical designs. So, conceptual designs, the data come from, where will the data come from, which type of data we have to use, how the system look like, the system is, the visibility of the system is good or not, how much time we have to define when we have to move on from the one event to the another event, what are the choices that we have to offer to the users, which type of data the customer wants, which type of reports the customer wants. Either the customer want the reports with the historical diagrams, histograms, with the pie charts, with the statistical charts, which type of charts we have to need, what is the basic criteria of the screen, what is the color we have to use, which color the user wants. So, these are some questions that we have to cover with the conceptual designs. Now, the technical designs. Basically, the technical design describe the hardware configuration, the software needs, communication interfaces, input output of the system, software architecture, network architecture, and the translation concept, that is the translation of the customer problem. Which type of requirements we have to put with the development of the software. So these are the some technical design concept that we have to describe in the software design. Now, the main definition of the software design and what type of items we have to use for the document design phase. So, software design means it is a process to transform the user requirements into a suitable form. What it means? It means we have to transform all the requirements that required by the user into the graphical form, so that the programmer easily point out each and every requirement in a very suitable way, and the programmer easily code these particular requirements and implement it. So this is the basic criteria of the software design. So we have to just translate the report from SRS to the SDD, that is the software requirement specification, to the software detailed design. So following items are designed and documented during the design phase. First is different modules required. How much modules are used or defined in this particular software? What is modules? When we divide one software into the smaller parts, so each part known as module. So we require different modules. So every software have different number of modules. So once suppose take the example of the ERP system. If we take the college ERP system, then there are number of modules like as HR module, like as registration module, like as accounts module, like as faculty module, like as attendance module. So many modules are required for developing the college ERP portal. But it is also varied from college to college. It is also varied from user to user. And second thing is the control relationships. Which type of relationship we have to maintain with each module or between the modules. So this is known as the interfacing between the modules. Which type of data structures we have to use for a single module. This particular data structure we have to call with other modules or not. What algorithm required to implement among the individual modules. So these are the some key points that we have to discuss for designing phase. Now, the software design concept, it is very simple. It is simple idea or principle behind the design. It describes how you plan to solve the problem of designing the software, how you think the problem, so we have to solve that particular problem, how the customer, what the customer wants, so how we have to implement the solution of that particular problem. So this is the concept of the software design. So basically, it allows the software engineer to create the model of the system. So the software product we have to develop in a very easy way and very effective manner. The software design concept provides a support and the essential structure model for developing the right software in a right way, in a right time. So this is the basic concept of the software design. So these are the some factors that we have to focus for the software design. So first factor is the abstraction. So these are the factors just called by the name, that is abstraction, refactoring, information hiding, pattern, refinement, architecture and the modularity. So just start with the abstraction. So what is abstraction basically? Abstraction means something we have to hide. But why we have to hide the details? Because the complexity of the system, we want to reduce the complexity of the system and enhance the quality of the system, enhance the effectiveness of the system, efficiency of the system. So we have to hide some details of the system. So this is the abstraction. So different level of abstractions are necessary. and must be applied at each level of the software design, so that each phase of the software design is error free, and we have to easily remove the errors from these phases, and we increase the efficiency of the software and refine the solutions of that particular problem. So this is the abstraction. So the solution should be described in broad base that cover a wide range of the different things at the higher level of abstraction. So basically, the abstraction is used for defining the quality or maintaining the quality of the software or increase the efficiency of the software. Second important factor is the modularity. So modularity means is what? We have to divide the system into the number of small modules. That is the concept of the modularity. This is a very important concept in the software design or software engineering, because we have to divide the software into the many parts. So we easily reduce the complexity of the system, we easily maintain the quality of the system, we easily find the error of the system. So this is the very important, that we have to develop the software in the modular way. So each and everything we have to maintain independently and perform the task independently. So this is the modularity concept. Now, third is the architecture. What is architecture basically? Architecture means something we have to design that is in a structured way. The concept that we have to use for defining or focusing on the various elements and data of the structure. These components interact with each other and use the data of the structure in the architecture. So this is the architecture part. So architecture means something we have to define in a fruitful way, in a structured way, because each and every content of the software is important, each and every component of the element is important. So this is the architecture design. Now the next factor is the refinement. So what is refinement basically? Refine means we have to change something, we have to change in a good manner. So we remove the impurities that becomes in the system. If the impurities becomes in the system, so the quality of the system is degraded, so the quality is not maintained. So refinement concept of the software design is a process of developing or presenting anything that in a detailed manner but in an efficient way, and we have to increase the quality of the software without removal the best things that we have to use in this particular project, but we have to remove the errors from that particular software. So this is the refinement. Now the pattern. Pattern means something we have to repeat in many times. Some shapes that we have to define in a previous way, and everyone know about my designs, everyone know about my patterns. For example, if a thief give the solution of that particular problem to a police, that the process of a thief, that the defined details of a thief, and so the police easily find out that these are the characteristic of that particular defined thief. So this is the pattern of theft something from the house or murder someone, but the characteristics of that thief are matched from the previous cases. So this is the pattern. That the pattern simply means a repeated form or design in which the shape is repeated several times for a defined pattern. Now the next topic is the information hiding, that is the hide the information. So sometimes we have to hide something with maintain the quality of the software. Sometimes we have to hide something for defining that no one cannot be accessed the software easily, that person name as the unwanted party or the third party. So, in software design, information hiding is achieved by designing the modules in a manner that the information gathered or contained in a module is hidden and it cannot be accessed by any other modules. So, this is the basic motive of the information hiding. Now, next is refactoring. Refactoring, the name pronounced as refact. So, basically it known as reconstruct something. When we design the software, so we change the number of facts, number of algorithms, number of defined measures, so that we have to reduce the system, reduce the complexity of the system or produce the quality software without affecting the behaviors of the functions that we have to want. So, refactoring means we have to reconstruct something but in a positive way. The motive of the product is not not figure out. So, this is the main concept of the refactoring. Now, the levels of the software design. Levels of the software design is divided into three parts. First is architectural design, high level design and the detailed design. Architecture design means view something, the overall structure of the system, how the system look likes. So, the architecture of the system can be viewed as a overall structure of the system and the way in which the structure provides the conceptual integrity of the system, so that we have to define all the components that we have to use for developing that particular software and what is the interfacing between the system, how we have to interact each and every module. So, designer have the idea that how we have to solve this particular problem. So, this is the architecture design. Now, the high level design. High level design means we have a big problem and we have to decompose this problem into the small parts. So, we have to identify the relationship between the modules very easily and we provide the interfacing of these modules is in a defined way. So, the outcome of this stage is that we have to define a final product but in a defined structured way. So, each and everyone easily find out the problems or the quality structure of the software in a graphical representation way. So, this is the high level design. Now, the last is the detailed design. Detailed design means something we have to define that is completed. No modules and nothing is left for documentation, nothing is left for designing, nothing is left for defining the concept of the document. So, this is the high level design. So, basically high level design is completed and the detailed design is undertaken. In detailed design, each module is examined carefully to design the data structure and the algorithms and we have to document the outcome from that particular part. So, this is the software detailed design. So, thank you for this lecture. I think this is this is very helping lecture for you guys. So, thank you.